right. Well, let's start out with a happy story today, Brian, on the program.
The hole in the head story wasn't the happy story?
Well, no, see, you're making fun of me having a 2 holes in my head, vacancies.
There's a hole in my head. Yeah.
But I want to start with a nice, wholesome, uplifting story about pro wrestling getting some mainstream publicity for once. About people not having to watch a wrestling program to see the upstart young wrestling company, AEW, plastered their logo and their boss and their personages, personnel, persimmons, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say, all over the fucking internet in non-wrestling media. Should we tell the people what the fuck has happened here in the jolly old United States of America? For those of you listening around the world who think that we're all crazy, here's some more evidence. I want to say this happened about 3 days ago, Brian, right? That this news came out.
Was it the day of Dynamite?
Possibly 2, 3 days, whatever the case. The news came out that a guy in Lancaster, South Carolina, I've worked there, by the way, was keeping imprisoned in his basement, one or more of them potentially for up to 10 years. And at first, I thought it was a rib. It was like it was fake news. I thought that somebody had taken a news headline. I saw it on Twitter first, had taken a news headline and then superimposed a fake picture over it, right? And it was a rib until it found out it wasn't a rib. The guy was on the picture wearing an AEW wrestling jacket. And in one of the clips that is going around about this story on Law and Crime Network or whatever, apparently they've tracked this guy's Facebook page down. And he has pictures of himself at FanFest, pictures at an AEW show with Luchasaurus. And they not only had these, they had his family pictures too. And they blurred the family's faces out and they blurred anybody that's not a public figure out. So there's this guy standing there with Luchasaurus and there's a blurred out face in the middle. And one of the fans posted the unedited shot and it's Tony Khan with his arms around both of them. Hey! And I mean, this guy, I've got the story here on the various things that they have charged him with: 4 counts of exploitation of a vulnerable adult, 4 counts of false imprisonment, 2 counts of abuse of a vulnerable adult, 2 counts of domestic violence, and financial charges. And more charges are yet to come.
Yeah, more are coming, I think. Yeah.
More to come. And when you look at this guy, he's the most Pillsbury doughboy looking fuckwit that you've ever seen. How that he would get away with this, and how can you keep multiple people in your house for extended periods of time against their will and with nobody knowing they're there? It's insane.
It's crazy. You saw the picture of the guy. He looks like a big fat wimp. You're surprised that he could keep anyone captive. And then you hear the level of sickness, just how crazy this whole thing is. Is he forcing them to watch AEW? That would make the whole thing even sicker.
Well, that may have wandered into it because apparently the financial charges, now, the reason why they caught him is this old woman that was in the basement died. And a death was reported, and then they started investigating him like, what the fuck is going on around here? And this has been going on over the last several weeks. But now they've learned that he was keeping their bank cards and withdrawing their money and using it, paying his own credit card bills. He wasn't getting them food. He wasn't getting them doctors. He had their cell phones. So apparently the old couple, he was like some kind of caretaker and he just locked them up. But the other two had been in what they said romantic relationships with him, one of which went on from November 2015 to July 2025. And then the other one came along.
Just when you think you know a guy.
Well, yeah, the other one came along in September 2024, and they apparently were co-imprisoned until July 2025. But and I saw somebody commenting, well, in abusive domestic relationships, they feel scared to seek help. When there's an old couple in the fucking basement and then some other chick comes in, don't you get a Silence of the Lambs thing? Like, let me just run. I don't care if I have clothes or a credit card. What, and how was he able to keep track of not turning his back on anybody? Or what the fuck was going on?
Well, it was easy to keep track of everything when he only left the house for wrestling and spent the rest of his time on message boards upstairs. He got
but he was leaving because there was a picture of him at a fan fest with poor one man gang.
Yeah, because he had his chain around his neck, and that's the first thing I saw. The image that they put out there was just this guy with a chain around his neck. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yes.
But it was the one man gang's chain. Moon,
the one-man gang, but he's got to be out of his mind now. What a sweet guy Gang is, right? He's got to be, oh, what the fuck? How did I get in this? I take a picture with one fucking mark. But do you think that maybe Tony might have to gear back on his advertising tagline of "We cater to the sickos" over this?
Well, you know, truth in advertising. Right? Truth in advertising. This guy is a sicko, and this guy's all AEW. I mean, you saw the photos of him. He's wearing the jacket. He has all sorts of fucking obsessions with this stuff. You know he's a message board nerd. And I think for a lot of people who wonder what kind of people have time all day to go on these boards and obsess over this stuff, it's guys like this. So whenever an AEW fan annoys you, just think, this is the embodiment of an AEW obsessed fan right here. Jeez.
Dude, I hate to even be that hard on. You can be obsessed with AEW and still not imprison people in the basement and steal their money.
The next time someone on Twitter, let's say, goes after any of you for an anti-AEW comment, just ask, how many people are in the basement right now?
Yeah, that's the thing, is if you're going to knock people on Twitter, you have to be able to pass some type of city examination of your basement.
So it was two women, I presume, because I saw a photo that was, someone's face was blurred. Two women he was romantically involved with.
Yes.
Which, having seen the photo of this guy, is a tremendous accomplishment.
And again, romantic involvement with anything except his right hand would seem to be out of the question from the picture. And we know people aren't looking their best when they're in jail, but I'm talking about the pictures from Facebook. He wasn't a prize.
So then it was an old couple and the woman died, so there's still a guy there? Okay.
Yes. Who apparently, from one story, thank you for bringing that up, one story said that the guy was developmentally disabled, but had been living independently and was apparently married to this other lady, until the family member said he disappeared a few years ago.
How's that not a bigger issue?
We really loved having Uncle Joe come to the parties until he disappeared a few years ago. He hasn't come since.
Yeah, we still hope he'll turn up one of these days. It's been a few years.
Maybe he's just on the outs with us. I mean,
he's the pastor's son
answers.
Too. Wasn't that one of the things? He's a pastor's son.
Oh yeah. Well, it had to be. Yes, he was the preacher's son there in Lancaster, South Carolina, which I'm sure. And the neighbor, what was the neighbor's comment? I'm trying to remember. As always, the neighbor had a classic fucking, well, that's just crazy. You'd have never thought it type of comment, from the guy that lived next door to him that had people in the fucking basement. And one would assume it wasn't that big of a fucking house. Anyway, we'll keep up to date on this story.
We'll see what happens. What a nut.